So we do all types of content here on Philadelphia Eagles now, and in case you missed it on yesterday's show, we broke down some Philadelphia Eagles OTAs winners and losers, some of the studs and duds from this past week, and it was really exciting to do that show because we got the opportunity to talk about actual football. And speaking of our content, we give you videos every single day, year-round. So make sure you subscribe to us here on the channel. We're 25 people away from reaching yet another milestone of 46,000 subscribers. I really take a lot of pride in Eagles Now videos being insightful, entertaining, but also informative, so you can learn about the Eagles as well. So hit that subscribe button, and with that, let's start the show. All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. Hope all of you had a great weekend and your weeks are off to a fantastic start. Today's show is sponsored by GlassesUSA.com. We have an exclusive promo link down in the description, and we'll tell you more about what GlassesUSA.com has to offer and that exclusive promo coming up later on today's show. As for what we're talking about on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm interested in this subject matter about Hunter Renfrow, probably, most likely, potentially going to get traded by the Las Vegas Raiders. That's certainly up in the air right now. Does it make sense for the Eagles to trade for him to be their slot wide receiver and wide receiver number 3? And did Yannick Ngakoue hint over the weekend that he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle? We're going to follow that paper trail as well. Let's begin here with Hunter Renfrow. Is a trade coming for a guy who is a really talented player, but has had some concussion issues to start his career since getting drafted out of Clemson a couple of years ago? And it really comes down to financials for Las Vegas. If the Raiders do deal Hunter Renfrow, they would save just north of $11 million. Post-June 1 moves can officially be made right now, which does allow teams to save a lot of money. And the Raiders image store has had this track record of putting jerseys on sale. And when they do that, oftentimes it leads to a player getting dealt. For instance, they had these Derek Carr jerseys back a few months ago on sale for 50% off. A Raiders Report host, Mitchell Rentz, had covered it at the time. He ended up getting dealt. And now Renfrow jerseys are on sale for 25% off as well. The thought here with the Eagles trading for Hunter Renfrow, if the Eagles want to upgrade at that wide receiver 3 position, Renfrow could be an option. Now, there are a couple of elements at play here. Let's first begin with the players currently competing for wide receiver 3. It is currently a battle between Quez and Olamide Zacchaeus. They are different players and offer a different set of skills as compared to Hunter Renfrow. You have Quez Watkins, who's the speedster, the burner, who can get up and down the field in a blink. He has that vertical element to his game. Olamide Zacchaeus is maybe a little shiftier, can make guys miss. In his pre-draft numbers, he ran like a 4.5, 4.6, 40-yard dash, but on the field, he plays a lot faster than that. Hunter Renfrow, on the other hand, is more of your prototypical slot wide receiver. He's not the biggest dude in the world. He's not the fastest guy in the National Football League at that wide receiver position, but he is a great route runner. He is a technician with his footwork, and he's very crafty with his ability to get open, especially with some of these improvisational plays. And why I'm tying and talking about Hunter Renfrow here is because I believe he could be a good fit with Jalen Hurts. When the pocket breaks down around Hurts, he can jet out of the pocket to his right. He can extend plays to his left. He can climb up the pocket while still keeping his eyes downfield. And that freestyle element is a strength to Renfrow's game. And I believe that his skill set would be complementary next to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The concern in trading for Hunter Renfrow, on top of the money, are the injury concerns. Concussions and an oblique injury in 2022. That cut his season short to the point where he only played 10 games. And he's had 3 confirmed concussions in 4 years. Could that number be larger than that? You never know. But when he's on the field, this is a talented player. In 2021, that's his best season up to date. 103 grabs, more than 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. There's been some talk about him struggling to master Josh McDaniels' offense because it is so structured, and Hunter Renfrow has that freestyle component to his game. But even in the 2 years prior to that, 56 catches, 49 catches, and then in 2022, only those 10 games played. But if you double that production, or at least try to get close to doubling that production, it's not a bad season if he's able to play that full sample size. As for Hunter Renfrow's contract here, $6.5 million in base salary this upcoming season, and then a cap hit of 13.1. There's a potential out after 2023, and going into 2024, $11.5 million base salary with a cap hit about $600,000 more than this upcoming season of 13.7. Should the Eagles trade for him? I want to open up the floor, and you can share your thoughts. Whatever you want to say it down in the comments section. I love the open forum here on the show. T for trade or P for pass. Coming up next on Philadelphia Eagles Now, more on this wide receiver 3 competition, and also the latest rumors around Yannick Ngakoue in free agency, a guy who has been great at hunting opposing quarterbacks ever since he's come into the National Football League. Did he hint over the weekend that he might want to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles? That's coming up, but first, a word from our sponsor. Quick question for all you Eagles fans out there. How do you like my new glasses here? Well, GlassesUSA.com has hooked me up with a new pair of Revel Sidestep blue light glasses to help me in front of my computer screen all day long. Using blue light glasses during screen time helps reduce eye strain, decrease headaches, improve your sleep, and increase productivity. If you didn't already know, GlassesUSA.com is one of the biggest eyewear retailers in the United States, offering thousands of eyeglasses and sunglasses as well, such as Ray-Ban, Gucci, Oakley, and many more. What's best about GlassesUSA.com is that glasses start at only $39, which are up to 70% off retail prices. And if you love these frames right here, there is a crazy exclusive offer waiting for my followers by clicking the links in the description down below. You don't want to miss it. They've also got a super helpful AR virtual try-on tool to help find your right frames. Also, shopping online at GlassesUSA.com is a risk-free shopping experience with free shipping and returns and 100% money-back guarantee within 14 days. If you want some sunglasses as well, spring is here, summer's going to be here before we know it. I also got these Revel Slater sunglasses from GlassesUSA.com. Get the exclusive discount only available to Eagles fans and Eagles Now viewers by clicking on the links in the comments and description box. It's only available for 24 hours. Once again, thank you to GlassesUSA.com for sponsoring today's Philadelphia Eagles Now. So now let's circle back to that wide receiver 3 battle. It's currently taking place throughout this offseason, and of course, training camp is really going to decide this, as well as the preseason between Quez Watkins and Olamide Zacchaeus. Again, different players individually, and also different players from Hunter Renfrow here. For Quez, this is a matter of a guy who was drafted late by Philadelphia, but started to turn some heads early in his career with that speed, beating guys on one-on-one drills, being a training camp and preseason standout, but not quite ever having the chance to put it all together, whether that be because of his usage, because of injury, or him just not fulfilling expectations. The year-by-year breakdown is pretty interesting, and that's why I and many others were disappointed with his lack of production in 2022, because I understand that the Eagles did not have A.J. Brown in 2021. I know that Jalen Hurts wasn't the thrower in 2021 that he was in 2022. The offense was also different because the Eagles, after throwing it a bunch and chucking it all over the yard the first month and change of the season, became a run-oriented team after that. But still, Quez, he needs to be a little bit better in 2022 than he was in 2021, and needs to be better in 2023 than he was last year. And if he's not, he's probably going to get his job snatched. Because Zacchaeus, on the other hand, is a guy who was not drafted out of Virginia. And he has progressively gotten better and better and better. And as his role has increased, he's become a pretty solid weapon for himself over his NFL career. So he doesn't get drafted. He still cracks that Falcons roster in 2019. Doesn't really do much. In 2020, does a little bit more. Last 2 years, though, he has inserted himself and did insert himself on that Falcons roster as a dependable weapon. And last year, outside of Drake London, the USC wide receiver who was drafted in the first round in 2022, Olamide Zacchaeus, he was like the Falcons' number 2 wide receiver, and he made a couple of plays where you're like, this guy has some wiggle to him. This guy can get open. He can make defenders miss in the open field. And while he might not have the 40-yard dash of Quez Watkins, he plays faster than that. 40 catches, 533 yards. What I love about this situation for Philadelphia is at that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 spot, whether it's Quez Watkins in that third position or Olamide Zacchaeus in that third pole, and then the other one is that fourth option, you upgraded here, moving on from Zach Pascal, because these two guys are better wide receivers. Pascal might be a good blocker. He's not the wide receiver, doesn't have the talent of a Quez or an Olamide Zacchaeus. So the all too early look at this position is certainly interesting. Who wins it? Q for Quez, O for Olamide Zacchaeus. Let me know once more down in the comment section. We round out today's Monday edition of Philadelphia Eagles Now with the latest on Yannick Ngakoue. He said over the weekend he wants to play for a contending team. And after Leonard Floyd is teaming back up with Von Miller, they played together with the Los Angeles Rams. Leonard Floyd signed with Buffalo. Is Yannick Ngakoue next? Because I think he might be the better player as compared to Leonard Floyd. Here's what he said on NFL.com and NFL Network Radio a couple of days ago. I definitely want to play for a contender, play for a team, and an organization that wants to win a Super Bowl. That's one of the things on my agenda, to be able to help and contribute to that. Hopefully I can get some great interest from a contender. Howie Roseman, do you have any interest in a guy who ever since he's entered the league has had at least 8 sacks every year that he's been in the NFL? And here's the thing about Yannick Ngakoue, does have some familiarity with this organization as far as his interest in it. Back in 2020, when he had basically called out the Jacksonville Jaguars and said, it's time for me to move on, there was some buzz, there were some rumors at the time that maybe the Eagles are going to deal for him. And Yannick seemed to be intrigued by it because he went on Instagram, he posted a story of Brian Dawkins, he posted a story of Reggie White, he posted the eagle emoji, ... vulture. It looked as though at the time in 2020, Yannick Ngakoue wanted to be an Eagle. And also when he was a free agent a few years ago, he was one of my favorite free agent targets for Philadelphia as well. Now, circling back to him being a free agent here, Yannick Ngakoue for the Philadelphia Eagles would be a luxury signing. They don't necessarily have a massive need at defensive end, but here's my thing about having great defensive ends and a stockpile of them. In today's pass-happy, offensive-laden era of football, you can never have enough quarterback hunters. And Yannick Ngakoue has been a great quarterback hunter throughout his entire NFL career. He went to Maryland, and ever since he's come into the league, he has had at least 8 sacks every single season, and he's only 28 years old. Would he be an upgrade over a guy like Derek Barnett as one of your backup edge rushers who could come into the game on a clear and obvious pass rushing situation and pass rush down and succeed and flourish on this defense with all these dogs on this defensive line? Yes, and the numbers have certainly been there the last 4 years. And the numbers have been there throughout his entire NFL career. 110 games under his belt, and he is good for more than one quarterback hit every time he takes the football field. 110 career games, 65 sacks, 135 quarterback hits, 65 tackles for loss, and 21 forced fumbles. I know the downside to his game is the fact that he is not good against the ground game. He is not a good run defender. But look, when you're going up against some top-tier quarterbacks in the NFL, you know what you need to be able to do? You need to be able to hunt them down. You need to be able to pressure those quarterbacks, generate quarterback pressures, make their job difficult, because what does that lead to? An errant pass, sometimes an interception, a back-breaking turnover, and a turnover that could change the complexion of the game. And that's what Ngakoue brings to the table. That's what he would be able to bring to the trenches for this Philadelphia Eagles defense. An elite pass rusher. You think they could have used that against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl when they did not register a single sack, even though it was Sodgate out there in Arizona? I know the Eagles didn't play well against the Chiefs' rushing attack as Isaiah Pacheco ran wild and Patrick Mahomes was able to bust out a couple of big runs as well. They also could have used a better pass rush, and that's what Yannick Ngakoue brings to the forefront here. So your level of interest in him is where? If he's willing to take less money, and he's done that in years past, by the way, to go to Philadelphia, I'm all in. Maybe you trade away Derek Barnett as well to save some money there and then give it to Yannick Ngakoue. Level of interest, 1 to 100. 1, don't want him. 100, all in. I'm all in, baby. Let's go all in this year. Let's win a Super Bowl. One more note before we hop on out of here. Philadelphia Eagles Now Today would not be possible if it wasn't for our sponsor, GlassesUSA.com. That exclusive promo link hanging out right now in the description and comment section of this video.